Good morning. These are your Nassau Guardian highlights for Wednesday, April 1st, brought to you by your Daily Bahamas headlines, especially for people on the go and those who are visually impaired. We begin with the main story in today's Guardian. Long lines and frustration at registration site. Residents reported chaotic scenes yesterday at the Parliamentary Registration Department's satellite voter registration location at Town Center Mall. Many people said they waited for hours in crowded conditions with little organization. Some voters said they arrived early in the morning and were still waiting several hours later. Others complained there was no clear system directing people where to go, which created confusion and frustration. Some residents also said they saw people apparently skipping the line. The complaints come as voter registration activity increases ahead of a general election that many expect could be called soon. Another major story reports that the government has broken ground on a new judicial complex in Nassau. The facility is being constructed on the site of the former Rodney Bain building on Shirley Street. The modern complex will house both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal and will include 19 courtrooms along with registries, support services, and secure holding areas. Chief Justice Sir Ian Wender said the current court facilities are outdated and no longer meet the needs of the growing justice system. Prime Minister Philip Davis said the project represents a major investment in the rule of law and is intended to improve how cases are handled in the future. In another front-page story, the Grand Bahama Port Authority says it removed unauthorized political campaign signs in Freeport after political groups failed to take them down. The authority said the signs were placed without approval and outside the permitted framework, and therefore had to be removed under existing regulations. Meanwhile, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority has opened a public consultation on the government's proposed acquisition of the Grand Bahama Power Company. URCA says the consultation will help determine whether the acquisition could reduce competition or conflict with the public interest before any decision is made. Elsewhere in the news, Prime Minister Philip Davis visited Solomon's Fresh Market ahead of the removal of VAT on unprepared food items. The government says eliminating the tax on these items is intended to reduce the cost of living and allow families to keep more of their money when purchasing groceries. The policy, however, has drawn criticism from the opposition, which argues that many Bahamians are still facing rising costs in other areas. Turning to the courts, a Bahamian man was fined $3,000 after customs officers discovered marijuana gummies, THC vapes, and magic mushrooms in his luggage at Lynden Pinley International Airport. In another case, 3 American cruise ship passengers were also fined after small amounts of marijuana were discovered in their stateroom aboard the Carnival Freedom. Now to the editorial. Nothing is off the table. The Guardian editorial reflects on the political climate as the country approaches the next general election. It says, election seasons often turn every issue into political debate, from fuel prices to healthcare and voter registration. The editorial notes that governments are often judged not only for their own policies, but also for global events that affect the economy. It adds that both the governing party and the opposition are now presenting proposals to voters as the campaign season intensifies. Now to the letters to the editor. Reject deflection. Human dignity is no shield from political accountability. The writer argues that while ethnic insults should be rejected, criticism of government immigration policy should not automatically be labeled as prejudice. Where we stand and fall. Another writer warns about misinformation and political division ahead of the election and urges voters to think carefully about the choices they make at the polls. For the full stories and many more, be sure to purchase a copy of today's Nassau Guardian or visit their website to read the complete reports. As the saying goes, an informed citizen is the foundation of a strong democracy. Enjoy your day, be blessed, and be a blessing.